Morris Winternitz is an Austrian scholar in 1899 in a Rome conference said, all the Europeans did to Bible, we need to do the same thing to Mahabharata. When the entire country was in the middle of a freedom struggle, there was an equally important research going on in Pune during the same time. There are 1257 versions of just Vyasa Mahabharata itself. It's 1899, a big conference in Rome. All the scholarly parties are there. And then Austrian scholar stands up and says, what we did to Bible in Europe, we need to do the same thing to Mahabharata. Let me pause there and let you think for a minute, because it is 1899. India got independence in 1947. That means the word of Mahabharata and the story has spread across the globe outside of India, where in Rome, an Austrian scholar has to stand up and say the magnanimity of the story and the significance of the literature is so good, we have to figure out a way to consolidate it in a way how we consolidated Bible in Europe. I wanted to just think about it, because right now, as an Indian, whenever somebody asks me about Ramayana and Mahabharata, is it real, is it not real, and we have different versions of it. My grandmother told me, these are all stories. We believe in gods. We are not very, accepting about it. We are so candid about it. Don't worry about it. I want all of you to know that there is actually scientifically vetted, thoroughly researched, 47 years of work from numerous people around the world, not just in India, to come out with the consolidated copy of a Vyasa Mahabharata. That is the story. So in 1919, April 1st, Bhandarkar Research Institute in Pune started the initiative, because it was initially called, as I said, in 1899. He did not just stand up in Rome in a conference and just say it out loud as a statement, but he actually took an initiative. He started gathering people and resources to start working on Mahabharata, but the project did not take off. But ultimately, fast forward to 1919, in Pune's Bhandarkar Research Institute, 1919 April 1st, the initiative started as a project with a separate wing where we are going to collect all the Vyasa Mahabharatas in India to get a scientific consolidated version. It was not an easy task, because just 2 weeks after this initiative had started, 300 kilometers away, Jallianwala Bagh happened. You know how horrible of an incident that is, not just in Indian history, but in world history. And in the amidst of this freedom struggle, there is also another complex project with so much struggle going on. Because, okay, now even I know most of you all, even who are not in the research field, are aware that if you have to do any kind of research on anything, they are going to ask you, how long is the research? What is the aim? And what are you going to gain out of it? What is your selling point in it? What is the profit that you are going to get out of it? But imagine, in 1919, you start an initiative saying, Mahabharata is our history, our story. What we are trying to do is collect all the copies, all the versions of Vyasa Mahabharata that is in Devanagari, that is in Nagari, that is in any languages in the south, in the Dakshina literatures, in Hale Kannada, in Telugu, in Sanskrit, in Manipur, in Kashmir, in Hindi, all the copies of Mahabharatas. And now, even now, it is difficult for me to comprehend, because every time I think about it, I get goosebumps. Because now, if you want anything, we can just call my friend and say, hey, dude, even if you're in India, you can call up somebody in US and say, can you just send me a copy of this particular literature or an article in that book, in that particular library. But there, it is not about the library. You have to go to temples and get Talegari, that is from written on the leaves, and you have to go to some royal court king's library, and you have to go to some caves in the temple. So you have to go to all those copies of Vyasa Mahabharata, and then that's not it. Okay, so you already know in India we have lots of different languages. On top of that, if you imagine, let's say there is a Hale Kannada Mahabharata, and this is the Pune Research Institute. They find Hale Kannada Mahabharata. They can't just bring the book. They need somebody who can understand and also translate Hale Kannada to Hindi. If he does not know Hindi, they need to find somebody who knows. First of all, he needs to know more than one Hale Kannada, because he has to translate in a different language. And there needs to be another person who can capture that and translate it to a third language, that is Hindi. Or in case even that doesn't happen, Gujarati, then Gujarati to Hindi or to English. So there was so that is word to word, letter to letter, shloka to shloka. And it is not just the translation. Out of the 1257 versions of copies, we have to identify which actually holds true to the core of the story, which is actually Vyasa's words, with not somebody else added it. Like when my grandmother told my grandmother told me the story of Mahabharata. So she added a couple of things that is important for me, relevant for me. And I'm gonna tell to someone else that is relevant for that time and that period. And because it was told from her grandmother, who thought that is with a particular additions that is fit for that particular era or time. So you have to consolidate all that to get into one true form. And in the meantime, actually, in 1925, Vishnu Sitaram Sukthankar took the chief editor role in Bhandarkar Research Institute, Pune, for this particular project. He is the guy who actually created the accelerated move and who pushed this particular project to move. His dedication and his vision, encouraged everybody to go. But unfortunately, in 1943, he dies. But the project does not stop. Whatever the seed that he has put in everybody, that spirit is still there. It goes on. Ultimately in 1966, September 22nd, this scientifically vetted full version of Vyasa Mahabharata was released by the that time president of the country, Sir Radhakrishnan. At the same time, Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, let me say that. And whatever the version of Mahabharata I'll be telling the story of is completely based on this. And this information was, again, I know I have read a lot of Mahabharatas. Even now, it is 2026 at this point. Today is when I got to know that there is actually a scientifically vetted Vyasa Mahabharata published by a research institute in Pune that took 47 years to consolidate. And if I can't tell that story, I don't know why I shouldn't be. I feel like, that if somebody in the amidst of fighting for their freedom took 47 years to consolidate a story from multiple languages, if I can't tell you, I don't know what I should tell you. It's actually springtime in America, so it's a lot of allergies and stuff. So what I'm trying to say is there has been a very well vetted, scientifically done Vyasa Mahabharata that has all the lessons that our parents, our ancestors have been telling. And this is my version of Mahabharata based on Vyasa Mahabharata and completely inspired by Gaurish Aki Studios' Secrets of Mahabharata series. And thanks to Sambat sir, and let's start the story.